Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 4 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to give you another tip on how to help you bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to talk about the difference between trusting what we feel and what we know. I think this can be confusing at times because often we'll have a feeling that we won't really just be able to put our fingers on. We won't really know quite why we feel this way, but we have that feeling. And sometimes people get confused. Should I trust that? I don't really have any reason to feel that way, and yet I do. Should I trust that? Or is that some sort of misunderstanding? Or is it something I shouldn't trust? Should I really trust what I know? And I think we need to understand 2 things about this. Number 1, how the brain processes information. If you followed my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know that we've got these 3 parts to the brain. Lower part of the brain is the brain stems where our fight or flight responses are located. Middle part of the brain is the limbic system. That's the part of the brain that is the interpreter or the scanner, the processor, the router. Upper 80% of the brain is the neocortex. This is where we have access to our interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills, clarity, confidence, creativity, compassion, etc. So here's what goes on. The limbic system, based on its kind of environmental and evolutionary perspective, is looking around for things we should be worried about, things that are threatening to us. That served us very well when we were walking through the jungle and heard the roar of a saber-toothed tiger. Limbic system reacted. We were likely not eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. Today, however, that limbic system is still functioning on this hyper-alert, hyper-fearful perspective, and sometimes that serves us and sometimes it doesn't. When we're in a dark alley or going down a stairway or in a parking lot or just in another situation where just something feels off, trusting that gut feeling can be very helpful. We can move to another situation, connect with a friend, do something in a way that keeps us safe. But when we're using this fear-based part of the brain to determine whether or not a relationship is a good idea, or whether or not some other part of our life is really working as it should, that can throw us off. Because at that point, I think what we really need to do is not trust so much what we feel or what we fear, but what we know. Is the person we're in a relationship with trustworthy? Have they proven that we can depend on them, that they do what they say? Is the situation we're in something we would recommend to someone we love? See, those are all questions that are answered by the upper 80% of the brain. And it may be that we might feel anxious about a situation when in reality there's nothing to feel anxious about. So we've got to make that determination. Do I trust my anxiety, my fear, or what I know? And I think that the beginning of that is to look at that from the different parts of the brain. There is a part of my brain telling me there is something off here. Is that good information? Or is that this old evolutionary part of me just kind of worrying and fearing about everything, almost using fear to keep me safe in situations when I'm really not in any danger? When that happens, we get thrown to that lower 20% of the brain. We kind of walk around like this, not trusting anything or anyone, and often not even trusting ourselves, because we've got this inner struggle going on where we know this, but we feel this, and we don't know which one to trust. So again, what I would encourage you to do is to ask yourself the question, is this anxiety I'm feeling, this gut feeling, is this good information in some ways? Or is this old part of the brain just producing a fear-based response when there is nothing to fear? And one of the ways of doing that is looking for what do we know? What do we know about this situation, this person, this job, this perspective? Is it worth trusting? Has it been trustworthy in the past? Is it serving us now? Would we recommend it to someone we love? And if we determine that, yes, this situation, this relationship is something I can trust, my knowledge about this person or this situation is something that I can trust, then we've got to actively choose to disempower this fear-based response. It's going to come up because we can't keep it from coming up. But when it comes up, rather than feeding it, we want to go, no, that's that old part of the brain thinking I'm in some sort of dangerous situation when I'm really not. Now, it may be true that we find ourselves later on finding out, whoops, I guess I should have trusted that. But we can't know that all the time, and we don't want to live in fear. I would rather trust a situation that has given me good reason to trust. This is not me just making this stuff up. That is giving me good reason to trust this person, this situation, and maybe find out at some point along the way that, okay, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, than always living in fear, trying to use worry and fear to keep me safe. Because that throws me into that lower 20% of the brain, produces anxiety, produces chemicals like cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and really skews my experience of life. Hope you're finding these videos valuable. I'm having a wonderful time bringing them to you. By the way, if you want to learn more about how the brain processes information, my website is full of information about that. There's videos, there's quotes. The website is billcrawfordphd.com, or just Google Bill Crawford PhD. I'll come up on the first page. If you want me to come and do a presentation for your organization around stress, dealing with difficult people, leadership, any subject that has anything to do with how the brain processes information, which is everything, by the way, just go to the website, hit the contact button. Let me know what you're interested in. I'd love to work with you around that. Of course, if you want to work with me as a psychologist, coach, whatever you want to call me, again, go to the website, hit the contact button, and I'll let you, I'll look forward to hearing from you and talk with you about that as well. In the meantime, here is to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do, especially around knowing what to trust, what we fear, what we know. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.